Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you are new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds. If you'd like to join the family, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Also, click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the discussion, you can join me most weekdays where I go live on YouTube around 4 p.m. Central Time, sometimes a little bit later, like today. Or outside of my YouTube, if you'd like to reach out to me, you can consider joining the Discord I've created. There's a link for that down in the description below. Also down in the description below is a link to a Pinterest board. That is a great place for you guys to see some of the different meals and recipes that I have been enjoying since I started my diet. Today is day 975 of my challenge to lose 300 pounds, just 25 days away from 1,000 days. So far, through a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet, I have been able to lose over 260 pounds. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I love hearing those as well. If you are succeeding with your diet, let me know what you're doing to succeed. If you're struggling with your diet, let me know what's causing some of your struggles. Maybe there's something we can help you out with. And at the end of the day, what are some things that you can do or that you are doing that will make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? I'm going to be right back. Hold on. All right. Sorry about that delay there, guys. I am back. Hello, hello. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. It is Monday. A few people checking in. Rebecca, Plants Only Muncher, Karen, Pretty Girl's mom. Hello, hello. Hopefully everybody's having a great day. It is kind of a weird day for us here. We do have our Independence Day tomorrow on July 4th. So it feels like half of the world is open today and the other half took the day off so they could have a 4-day weekend. So it's been a little bit weird here. And I don't have a ton of time, or I don't know how much time I'm going to have here today because I got some guys out and I'm waiting for them to come back. So I might end up leaving again like I just did, or just ending the stream fairly quickly. I have a lot going on. We're doing a locally here, they do fireworks this evening in one of the towns that we're going to go watch those fireworks. It's actually pretty close to where I work, so it makes it pretty easy. But we just have a busy evening, and I had just a crazy busy and kind of stressful weekend that I suppose I'll go over that the best I can here. But I guess we'll go over food since that's where we're at here. So we'll go over food since last Thursday was the last time I believe I was streaming, or the last time I was live was last Thursday. I got to fix this so it works better. And then do it again. All right, so let's go ahead, go over food. So Thursday evening, we had something it feels like we haven't had forever. I'm sure we've had it recently, but it just feels like it's been forever. since we had our polentas with white beans and mushrooms with spinach and some balsamic in there. Absolutely love this meal. We had this for dinner on Thursday. And then Friday morning, we had our standard oats, our steel cut oats with our oat groats. And then on, let me see if I can make that work. And then let's see, for lunch on Friday, had the standard, our regular potatoes and broccoli here. And absolutely enjoy that. Let me see, this is Friday. Is it that close? Yeah. So I didn't eat my dinner until I didn't eat my lunch till about 4 p.m. on Friday. So that was lunch and then dinner here. Anthony checking in saying hello. Hello, Anthony. Hope you're doing great today. Hope you had a great weekend. Let's see. So this was dinner Friday evening. It looks a lot like Mega Veggie Chili, but I don't know that that's what that is. Let me see. Friday. Did we have something that this was leftovers from? We're going to assume that that's Mega Veggie Chili that we had on dinner for dinner on Friday. And then Saturday we had different oats than normal. We were out of mushrooms, so we ended up kind of having our the oats we used to eat. So this is oats with apples, bananas, and a little bit of peanut butter in there. And I had to laugh that we even had any peanut butter left. The peanut butter that I eat or have eaten in the past is, I think it's called Crazy Richards. We get it from Walmart and it's just peanuts. And I used to eat it a lot because when I first started this challenge, I was eating a lot of Ezekiel bread with nut butter. So I would end up going through quite a bit of that peanut butter. And the container that we used for our oatmeal here on Saturday was the very end of a container that must have been sitting in our fridge for months, because I have not had any Ezekiel bread or nut butter for months at this point. But we did have enough in there for us to have our oatmeal on Saturday. Then Saturday, I took a picture of this. Carrie was out running around with the kids doing things. And so I just took a 5-pound bag of potatoes and I filled our Instapot with the 5-pound bag of potatoes. And I just took a photo of it. And then for lunch on Saturday, I had potatoes and broccoli. That might even been dinner on Saturday. Let me see if I have any other food photos from Saturday. Oh, I do have some more food photos from Saturday. So we did have something for food. Saturday afternoon, we had some corn on the cob, and then we had this quinoa dish that was really good. The sweet potato in it was amazing, and really just an awesome meal that we had for dinner on Saturday. It was a newer recipe that Carrie was trying. I'm not sure if it's on our Pinterest board or not. I'll have to ask her about it, but definitely a dish that I would have again. And then it had its, there was a taco seasoning that Carrie made that was in this that was really good, that we used in something else later. I can't remember. When I come across the photo, maybe I'll remember what we used the taco seasoning in. Then yesterday for breakfast, standard oatmeal, mushroom, spinach. Got our mushrooms back, so we were able to have that. I don't think I ended up having broccoli in the morning because we didn't have any table tasty, and so this here was just potatoes and broccoli that I ate for lunch, and I think I had that unseasoned because we didn't have any table tasty. So that was lunch on Saturday or Sunday, and then dinner yesterday was pineapple rice. I'm trying to think of what we used that seasoning in. Maybe it was just Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it was the potatoes I had for lunch. Maybe I put nutritional yeast and taco seasoning in my lunch on yesterday. But anyways, that was dinner yesterday. Absolutely wonderful. I really enjoy this pineapple rice recipe. We've had it a couple times recently. And then today, standard oatmeal. Had broccoli with my breakfast this morning. And then I had a big bowl of potatoes and broccoli here that I have actually not finished yet. I'm very close to the end of it, but still finishing my lunch for today. It's been that kind of day, or it's been a crazy busy kind of day today. So that is the food since last Thursday. So a couple things I was going to talk about today. I've been listening to the Pleasure Trap book again. If you guys have followed along, you know I really enjoy the Pleasure Trap book, and I've listened to it multiple times, and this will be maybe the fourth or fifth time that I've re-listened to it. I don't listen to it as intently as I did the first time that I listened to it. It's just something I have playing in my truck, and if some topic comes up and it causes my mind to wander, I let my mind wander a bit and let the video play on. I don't worry about going back and rewinding and catching every bit of it like I did when I first read it. But it really does help to listen to the book and to hey, Carrie's checking in. Hello, Carrie. Hope everything's going great today with you and the kids. I did have a question. If you're listening, there was a quinoa dish that we had the other day with the sweet potatoes. Is that on the Pinterest board, or do you know the name of that? But I'm listening to the Pleasure Trap book, and just so much of the book resonates with my mindset, my mentality, just the idea of the motivational triad, and just how much of things are instinctual. And one of the topics that they were talking about today that they just kind of mention in the book, but it's the idea or the concept of going without, or to, understanding the difference between the presence of something or the absence of something, and how the absence of something can be just as important as its existence. And they use an example of a Sherlock Holmes book where Sherlock Holmes is trying to figure out who had committed a murder, and they thought it was a stranger, but he had kind of deducted that if it would have been a stranger, then the dog would have barked at the stranger. And since the dog did not bark, then it was likely not a stranger. So it was the absence of something that caused that helped figure out the crime. And one of the things they talk about is how they had studies with birds, and if they turned the light off, that light turning off wouldn't the birds wouldn't react to the light turning off. They would react to the light coming on, but the removal of something in their environment doesn't cause them to notice. And that for years, humans, I guess, what we had to learn the concept of zero, the concept of non-existence, or the idea that's abstinence. Carrie says that recipe is on the Pinterest board. It is quinoa, yam, black bean salad, or something like that. But the concept of zero didn't exist, or they had to learn that. Like mathematicians were running into issues because they didn't have the concept of zero. And once they learned that concept, though, then things became clearer, and it became part of human knowledge to understand what zero means and what the absence of things mean. We have that ability to have that abstract thought. And what got me thinking, or what I was thinking about with it today, is the idea that we can imagine going without food. We can imagine we're an environment where we're forced to go without food. So we can imagine ourselves starving to death because we know that the absence of food would cause us to starve to death. And because we can imagine that, we fight against that possibility. And we do everything we can to avoid that imagined situation, when in reality, we're nowhere near that environment that we needed that in our brain. Like having that idea of, hey, I could run out of food, so I need to stockpile food, or I need to do something to avoid starving, is a concept that humans have that maybe other animals don't have the ability to understand. The idea of what it would be like to not have food. So then we get very creative in ways to get as many calories as quickly as possible or as easily as possible. And that's what's kind of caused our food system to develop the way it is. But just that, I don't know. It just got me thinking about abstinence and the idea of zero, and how it's really affected me greatly is removing the excess from my diet, removing the unneeded calories from my diet, and the effect that it's had on me. And then also the abstinence from certain food products, and the abstinence from things that are processed in general, and that we can do that we have the ability to decipher, that food's good for me or this food is bad for me, and then make our choices based on that. But anyways, I just thinking about what I was listening to the Pleasure Trap, and what I was thinking about. So the other thing I was going to talk about is just this crazy weekend that I had. That was super stressful, and something that I've had a few stresses come up in the past month that were unexpected stresses. And in the past, it would have been easy for us to just eat junk food, or to give in on the diet for the time being. And so what we ran into this past weekend is that our water heater went out. We've been having issues with the water heater for a few years. I would say that we've been limping with this water heater. And so it finally went out last week, and me being the cheap wad I am, I was trying to do everything I could not to replace the entire water heater. And so I bought a kit to rebuild to change the heating elements out, because I figured that was the issue I was having. And went to Home Depot, got the things, came home and got part of it done, realized that I needed another socket in order to get the parts out. So I had to run back out to Home Depot, Came back, sockets weren't helping. Everything was kind of rusted, corroded in one of the spots. I couldn't get it to release, so I went back to Home Depot, bought some things to help with that. And then in the end, after all that running this weekend, I didn't end up getting it fixed. And so we've been, as Karen says, sounds like your son. Is that being the cheap one trying to fix it? Maybe. So anyways, we didn't have hot water pretty much all weekend. And it would have been so easy for us to just order food or go and get junk food and just to deal with it that way. But it just didn't really even cross. I mean, maybe it crossed Carrie's mind because she was dealing with the dishes, and not having the dishwasher working was kind of a pain. But it would have been easy to just, eat junk food or to get, Carrie says it definitely crossed her mind. Yes, he has to go to Home Depot or Lowe's several times. Yeah, whatever. And yeah, it's like not right next door. So the last house that me and Carrie lived in, the Home Depot was like on the other side of the interstate from our house. So it was like less than a 5-minute drive from our house. And so it was real easy to run to the hardware store and back home. Now where we live takes me 20-25 minutes just to get to Home Depot, and then 20-25 minutes to get back. So I kill an hour just to deal with, needing one single part or one single item. And it's a pain. So, Carrie says we make a lot of dishes. Yes. But I think, and we had that. And then a couple weeks ago, we had the passing of our dog, and both of these things are stressful kind of things. One maybe more than the other, but during all of the time that I've been stressed out with things, I never was worried about my food. I was never stressed so much because of work or because of life that I just let my diet go to shit. And I think it's because in the past when I was on diets, I was always starving. There was always this stress of hunger that you're dealing with. And when you have the stress of life, plus you have this added stress of being hungry, when you can't do anything about life, like yesterday, I couldn't make anything go just right, or it took it's going to work out in the end, but it was very stressful trying to deal with this, not being able to get this socket to loosen or this bolt to loosen that I had been messing with for a couple hours. And I never went to, I'm just going to go get some junk food and just eat, or just because I'm not hungry. I eat good amounts of food. And even if I were to be stressed through a meal or through the period of time when I would normally eat, I've generally eaten so much the previous day or the previous week that I don't need to eat. It's not something where I'm stressed about food. And I think a lot of times in the past for me that diets failed because I had the stress of the diet, trying to maintain a super low calorie or super restrictive diet. And then I also had the stress of life. And when you can't when those stresses, they add on to each other. They build on each other. They don't just, they're not parallel. And in your mind, you have all of this stress, and you want to do anything you can do to relieve some of that stress. And in the case of our dog from a couple weeks ago, there was nothing we could do to relieve that stress, other than to be in the moment. And that's something that I don't know how it would have been different if we wouldn't have been eating this way. But I truly felt like I was very in the moment with that experience with our dog. And that's, I didn't use food to mask my emotions, I guess, or to make myself feel better about the situation. I just had to live in the moment and yeah. And so it's something that, it's, so by eating this way, I'm not adding stress to my life. I'm removing stress, because I was stressed about my diet, even when I was not worried about eating, on a diet, when I was just eating the crap I was eating. That stressed me out too, because of the health that the issues it was causing. Carrie says that she thinks her frustration right now is that there's just not a place where we can go pick up a meal when our life is in chaos. Like sometimes we don't want to make dinner from scratch at 8:30 at night and dirtying a ton of dishes when you need to wash them with cold water. Yes. And it's a temporary problem. We just got to live through it for another, I don't know, let's say 24 hours. And Carrie here says, but she does not feel like she wants to run out and eat junk food. She wants to eat our food. Yeah. And that's what compels us to make that meal at 8:30 at night, because we want our food. We don't want to run and get some fast food junk and feel like crap the entire next day, or for the next few days, really, is what happens when you eat that junk food. And Anthony here says that junk food is horrible. Yes, that was the title, part of my title, kind of. Junk food, processed food is junk food. Celebrating my independence from processed foods. And that's something also that kind of has been more at the front of my thought because of the listening to the Pleasure Trap book. I think that it's, it talks a lot about removing processed foods, and eating whole, natural, whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet. I'm so happy I don't eat processed foods. I'm so happy I'm out of the system. I'm out of the game. I don't even really walk down the aisles that have all of the processed junk food at the grocery store. I pretty much hit the produce section and the freezer aisle for some of the broccoli and things like that we eat. And it's amazing what's going on out there in this world. The food that they're giving us access to and that we're buying is not real food. It is poison. And you have to look at those boxes as if, you got to look at those boxes on the shelves as if they're filled with poison. Many times they're in these bright, colorful boxes to convince you that there's something healthy or something that's good to eat inside of them, when in reality, it's hiding all kinds of horrible chemicals and contaminants that you have to deal with. So Karen here said that Mama Says is a great solution for last minute. Someone else fixed food. And she says that Mama Says has been a lifesaver for her. And then Pretty Girl's mom asks, do they deliver right away? Yes. Yes. Do they deliver that evening? Is if I have to think ahead. And then Carrie's also asking if they do SOS free, because that would be if they do SOS free, then we could definitely see the appeal of having a recipe or two inside of the freezer. Anthony says Twinkies. Yeah, Twinkies are horrible for you. There's nothing natural in those foods. And maybe there was at one time, when the first Twinkies were made, maybe they were made with whole food ingredients. But over time, I doubt they ever were. But over time, the processing of it got cheaper and cheaper, and you have what you have today. Pretty Girl's mom says that part of their food is SOS free. Okay. But the food that we see on the shelves is not real food. The food at the grocery stores is not real food. I went to many convenience stores or gas stations between where I live and St. Louis a couple weeks ago, and I walked through those gas stations. I saw no food on the shelves. Nothing that was on those shelves was real food. Everything was chemically engineered or scientifically engineered and altered to be exactly what we crave, exactly what we want to have, what our brains think we need. And in reality, it's just junk. It's just refined parts of what you should be eating. I don't know how to best explain, but so many of these things, if we actually had to eat the amount of food that was processed to make that, like if you had to take a cheeseburger from let's say you take a McDonald's cheeseburger, you could eat a McDonald's cheeseburger pretty easily. But if you had to actually eat the amount of wheat or whatever they make that bun out of, you wouldn't be able to eat it. If you had to actually eat the amount of the oil that they use, if they use like a sunflower seed oil, if you had to actually eat that many sunflower seeds, you couldn't do it. But because they've refined it and they've given us just microscopic parts of each plant, the best tasting part of each plant, then that's, they just continue to lure us with that food. But I do have to get going because we got a busy evening and I got some guys pulling into the building here. I'm not sure if I'll be live tomorrow. I should be on, or I plan to be on for weigh-in Wednesday. Yeah, I got to get going though. I really appreciate you guys checking out the video. I just wanted to get on and do a quick video today. It was a super odd day around here. I got to go to the hardware store before it closes to buy more stuff to fix this water heater. So I'm going to get out of here. I hope all you guys in the US here have a wonderful 4th of July. I hope everybody else has a wonderful 4th of July as well. I should be back on the 5th for weigh-in Wednesday. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, get subscribed to the channel. If you've not clicked on the bell icon, click on that bell icon so you get alert when I go live or post new videos. And if you have not started your diet yet, get started right now. There's nothing coming up that's more important than your health and your overall well-being. And there's nobody that reaches their goals, looks back, and wishes they would have waited. So get started right now, guys. We will talk to you later.